Hi.
Everyone. Today's another amazing day. We're having an amazing guest. I'm good. Today we're having an amazing guest joining us from Kenyan. I followed her work for some time. I think for like a year now. And I'm seeing the amazing work she has been doing in Kenya. And I felt like it is good to have her on our show today. It's not that person than Winnie Wambugu. She is the director of Nakuru Tuba. So they're doing something really creative with potatoes. And that's why I felt like we should bring her to this show today and hear her story, what inspired her to go into farming. So that's why we're having you on this podcast. So once again, it's agritech founders who are doing amazing stuff across the globe. Over time, we've interviewed a lot of agritech startup and food tech startup who are doing amazing stuffs. We're trying to document their stories, their journey, and what they've been through while building their company. So today, yeah, it's a pleasure having you on our show. We want you to take us through the entire journey where you started from. Take us through the entire journey where you started from and what inspired you, to take up this path. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. And I'll start by sharing on how I came about with Nakuru Tubers.
Okay, good. But let me ask you the next question is did you um okay, what was your background before launching Nuku Tubas and how did it prepare you for this journey?
As I had mentioned earlier, I did my master's in horticulture. And during this time when I was studying, I
Mm-hmm.
got to interact with the seed potato value chain research unit. And at this time, I would volunteer to go for farmers trainings. I would volunteer to attend like the International Potato Day. I would volunteer to attend any event that was related to potatoes, just to learn and experience and interact with farmers, understand what they want. And it was through this interaction I realized that seed potato is a very big challenge in Kenya, and that's how I ended up in doing seed potato research.
So how did it come about the name Uncle Tubas? What does it mean? Is it like a new variety? I mean, what's the concept behind Uncle Tubas? And what's the concept
Uh,
behind the name too?
so we are currently based in Nakuru County, and that is where the word Nakuru comes from. And for the tubers, it comes from the tuber
Okay.
crops. So we didn't want to say Nakuru potatoes. We wanted the tubers because we are envisioning in the next like 5 years, we are going to introduce more tuber crops like cassava and yams. And so we decided to get the whole tubers so that we could expand from just potatoes to other tuber crops. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. So is it that this your tubers? Do you work on them? Is it that what make them special? What's the uniqueness about your tuber?
So our tubers start from the tissue culture laboratories. And so normally we start by
Mm-hmm.
having cuttings. You see, like the tomato seedlings, we start by having potato seedlings. And so what we do is we have a tissue culture lab where we're able to multiply clones. And this basically means that we get one tuber that is very high yielding, and we get the sprout from it. From the sprout, we were able to grow it in a tissue culture lab, and one sprout can give us a lot. I would say hundreds and hundreds of potato seedlings, and at this stage, they're called in vitros. And so, once we have the in vitros, we're able to plant them again. We can either plant them directly in a hydroponic unit or multiply it further to get the apical rooted cuttings. I know this is a bit complex, but what makes it special is number one, we are producing them under culture laboratories. And this means that number one, they do not have any
Mm-hmm.
diseases. We're eliminating diseases completely. Number two, these are the first ever tubers. They actually called generation zero. And so this means that they are very high yielding as compared to what farmers normally use, because farmers harvest and then they recycle the small tubers, they recycle them in the next season. But now we have the first ever tubers that you'll ever get from these potato seedlings. And thirdly, we are focusing on the climate resilient varieties, and this means that our seeds are able to survive to some extent under harsh environmental conditions. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. That's really incredible. Now, let me ask you, what are some of the biggest hurdles you faced in building Nakuru tubers, and how did you overcome them?
Um, For me, I think one of the biggest challenge was I was a scientist, and now I was shifting into
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship, and these are two different things. Like coming from a science background to
Yes.
start thinking of profits, it's not easy, and so I had to do a lot of classes. I had to read a lot of books. I had to do a lot of work in trying to understand what is a prototype, what is market, what is product market fit. Like there was a lot of learning that I had to do, and it took a lot of time for me to understand all these things. And things like, how do I develop a team, how do I interact with farmers, how do I sell my product to farmers. It was actually a whole process of learning all over again. So it's like I just finished my masters, and now I'm back to class again to understand the world of entrepreneurship.
So your story is about is really unique. As an entrepreneur myself, I really found share that um we have a lot of scientists who are doing a lot of research work, and their research work gets to die with them in the lab. You don't The world does not really get this people are coming up with a lot of innovations, and you just and the whole innovations or science or whatever they're coming up with die with them. You have a very unique story on being able to build from your science and now bringing it to entrepreneur where the world experience what you've built. It's really really incredible for me. But can you take us through how are you scientists, or what do you have to tell to scientists, for example, watching these programs to say how do they transit those innovations like for you, and what do you what's your advice for them, for the scientists who are in the lab always coming up with innovations, and how do they transit it from just innovations in the lab for it not to die in the lab? How do they bring these innovations to the table, to the market?
So first and foremost, I would like to say that as scientists, our main mandate is to come up with solutions that will reduce humanity challenges. And as much
Mm-hmm.
as we all try to come up with better products, invest a lot of money in research and publish good papers, there's more to that. We need these innovations to be brought out of the lab and actually utilized by people. And we also need to get feedback from these people. It is through these interactions that we can be able to make the world a better place. We can be able to produce better crops. We can be able to get more nutritious diets. But if we just leave it on the paper, no farmer will ever download a paper from Springer and
Yes.
actually read it. So we actually need to translate that research and use the simplest language possible for a farmer to be able to understand. And uh, it can be a farmer or whatever your target audience is. And if you're not able to to translate your research and give it back to the audience, the person who needs it the most, then it doesn't make any impact doing the research at all. If you just leave it from the publication, it has to be translated and to make impact in the society.
What do we as scientists should look for? We understand the scientist parts now, but how do we now, what should we do? I mean, we were talking about product development. So what did you do to transit from science to for scientists to an entrepreneur? What did you do? What are the new skills you went to acquire to be able to move, so that those
Oh,
listening could be able to acquire those skills as well? So we can, yeah.
um, first, I'd like to say that not all scientists can become entrepreneurs. And in that case where someone wants to remain a scientist, they can be able to publish these papers and pass them on to the innovation and incubation centers that can utilize that finding to be able to
Okay.
come up with a product. And number two is I did several courses on communicating science, and these are available for scientists in the sense that we are taught to simplify the complex scientific language into a simple language that can be understood by someone who is not even in your field. I, being in the agricultural space, I'm supposed to translate my science and my findings in such a way that a doctor can understand, an engineer can understand, and a computer scientist can be able to understand comfortably. And so, communicating science is a very, very, very important course that is actually not offered to most universities. And I was lucky enough to get into a program by Virginia Tech in the US, who were able to take me through I think it was like a 3 months training on how to communicate science.
Hmm. I see. I think that's really unique. Um, ability to communicate science, and I think they should. For those who are really interested, I like the part you talked about product market feeds. Internship is not easy. So, but what's been your experience so far, being transiting from being a scientist to entrepreneur? What's been the journey so far? What have been, as I understand, could have you faced a lot of hurdles. Can you take us through some of the hurdles you faced
um
from transiting from scientist to becoming an entrepreneur?
yeah, maybe apart from learning how the market works and how to sell a product, there was a lot
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
building trust between the consumer and us who are producing a product. And so we had to create a very strong
Mm-hmm.
relationship with the farmers and explain to these farmers that we are coming from a university. We have done research for more than 3 years, and we've been able to actually come up with something that is better. And if they use this product, they can be able to. We actually gave them samples to plant and have their own reviews. And so, for example, what we were doing is we were going to maybe like one potato farming community, and we get like a chairman of that maybe like a potato farmer group. We give them the seeds to try them for a season, and then they can be able to see how these potatoes are behaving. And this way we can be able to earn their trust in the sense that they are the ones planting it. It's not us. They're not coming to our farm. It's someone from their community planting these seeds and actually being able to see that, number one, it's able to withstand maybe like harsh environmental conditions. It's able to give more yields than what they are producing. It's able to withstand some diseases and also some pest infestation. And it's through this you're able to build that strong partnership with and also trust with the clients. And the other thing that was really challenging is with us being young people and actually approaching very old farmers. At first they were like, these are just university students. They maybe they don't know what they're doing, I don't know. So it was really hard for us to actually sit down with these people and explain to them, even if we are young people, we are in the farming community and we totally understand what they are going through. And through
Yeah.
our system we can be able to get yield. So there was that also age gap difference that was crazy. And also me being a woman as well. Sometimes I'd go to farmer groups that have like
Yeah. I was going to ask what
85% men.
you faced.
Sorry.
Yeah. As I was going to ask you if you face any orders because you're a lady in the industry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're there, especially when you deal with farmers. And so I had to try and build a team that has both men and women, so that sometimes when you go to some communities, the men in that community might not be able to listen to you. And in that case, I just had the men from my team coming in and actually talking to these farmers, because at the end of it all, we have to make impacts in our community. And these are some of the things I had to to pass through. But now we've seen a lot of changes from these communities over time. And now I can be able to go and talk to them, and they are able to listen. And so it has been a very huge transition. And we have right now, at least things are better. Yeah.
That's good. How many are you guys in your team?
We are currently seven, and we are all from
Hmm.
same
Wow.
university actually, but we've studied diverse courses from master's, PhD, and also undergrads.
How did you? What was your like your hiring process like?
Um, at the
Your
moment,
hiring process. How did you
yeah,
go to select your team?
at the moment, since we came from our company started from a university, we are trying to empower other students from the university
Mm-hmm.
to be able to have the mindset of entrepreneurs. And so most of the times is we can have internship opportunities that we give to these students. And through these internships, we're able to teach them how they can become their own bosses, how they can be able to interact with farmers, and maybe we also make them think like entrepreneurs. How can we make money? How can you make money? So that once they are done in their next steps, they can try to think of making their own businesses and generating their own income in whatever way possible, so that they don't struggle for the little job opportunities that we have. And maybe they can come up with better products or
Hmm.
other sources of income. Yeah. And so apart from that, we also
That's good.
hiring
I think you're doing.
talented we're also hiring like we do have plant breeders in the team who are taking care of research. We also have agribusiness in the team who are ensuring that we are able to generate revenues. We have accountants. We all have production agronomists. We all
Hmm.
have diverse talents in the team, and they are all
Hmm.
from the same university.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So, how has Nukuri Tuba impacted the farmers and their cultural supply chains in Kenya?
So far we've been able to impact about 2000. Sorry. So far, we've been able to
Okay.
impact about 2,000 smallholder farmers in Kenya. We have trained a few indigenous communities who are looking into preserving their own seeds. And so we've been
Mm-hmm.
teaching them on how to do positive selection. Which plants do you select when you want to preserve your own seeds? Which plant you don't need to select? How do you select the land that you want to plant these seeds for preservation? We've also trained women groups, and in these women group we have tailored modules that has maybe some aspects of gender, so that we are really trying to empower communities to understand that being a woman, you can also be able to make your own income. And even if we still have issues to do with land, when it comes to women, they can be able to lease land and actually plant their own crops and generate their own income. And also this year, through the support of MasterCard Foundation, we are also trying to create job opportunities for youths in the potato growing counties in Kenya. And we are looking at creating more than 1,000 job opportunities for young people.
Wow, that's really massive, really massive. Okay, let me ask one. Um, What's the next thing for Nukuru Tubers? Are there exciting development or expansion plans in the pipeline at the moment?
Yeah. Right now, we are moving from Nakuru, and we are creating centers in a different county as well. And so we are trying to scale up to the different
Oh,
potato growing counties in Kenya, such that each of these counties can have their own seed hub. And this is like we can have a Nakuru Tubers branch in the different counties. And so farmers don't have to travel so far to access the seeds. they can be able to access seeds easily from their counties, and this will cut cost on the transportation, and it will also cut cost in the sense that they do not need to travel so far to get training access. They can be trained from their counties, making it easier to create impact and to increase food security in Kenya.
Wow, that's really incredible. I think there's a whole lot that you are doing in Kenya. Um, is there any role the government is playing? I understand. I don't like talking about the government on my podcast a lot, especially in Kenya. But I'm just being curious. Is there any role the government is playing in Nakuru Tuba so far?
For now, no. We are actually paying a lot of money to get our certification processes, which are so expensive. But as we try to expand to these counties, we are looking into bringing the government on board. They can be able to support us in one way or the other. When it comes to offering training and capacity building
Yes.
programs, we'd like to reach as many farmers as we can,
Yes.
and this will only be possible through the government. However, we have a few stakeholders in Kenya who are working with us. We do have input providers. We
Hmm.
do have um,
Yeah.
we are looking at the AFAS. AFAS is one of the biggest organizations in Africa that deals with advisory services, and they've partnered with us to help us integrate our training modules into a digital platform that can be accessible to farmers from anywhere, both online and offline. And these training modules will not
Hmm.
only be accessible in Kenya,
Hmm.
but we can be able to spread them across different countries. And so, in the next coming few months, we are going to have the government, and we are also going to expand on our stakeholders.
Hmm. Amazing, amazing. You doing a lot of incredible work there. So let me ask as we begin to. There's a whole lot of questions, but let's begin to wrap up this interview. Your story is really inspiring to me. I've seen what you've been doing, and I believe a lot of people are being inspired by what you are doing. Um, but so far, have you been able to raise funds for all these projects?
Sorry, come
Have you
again.
been able to fund this idea? Have you been able to fund this the business?
Initially, we've gotten grants from a few organizations like the World Food Program. They were able to support us to understand the market and test our products, come up with MVPs, prototypes,
Mhm.
and we also self-funded ourselves to start. But at the moment, we've also gotten a grant through Reforum and AFAS, and this grant is to create jobs in Kenya, to integrate technology in our potato farming practices, and also to include more women and young people. And this is actually why we are scaling up to other regions due to this grant we have received from Reforum and AFAS through Mastercard Foundation, and we are really excited to move forward and to reach more people. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's really, really good. What's your advice for entrepreneurs who want to go into the agri tech space or the food tech space? What's your advice for them?
Um, yeah, my biggest advice will be to hang in there. It's not easy. I know there
Hmm.
is most people will not fund you because you're in the ag space and the risk that is associated with being in the
Yeah,
agricultural space.
yeah.
And yeah, if you believe in what you're doing, just go for it. Things will work out somehow. Yeah, we keep on fighting.
That's that's the good. Well, how can people support Nakuru Tubas? Are there ways people can partner for it or investment opportunity? Are there investment opportunity for people to come into Nakuru Tubas?
Yeah, definitely. There's always room for partnerships. If we have to create our own impact, if we have to scale, we need to have as many hands on deck as we possibly can. And yeah, they can be able to reach us through our emails, through our website. Our website is
Mm-hmm.
Nakuru.
Mm-hmm.
Our email is info@nakurutubers.com. They can reach us through any social media account. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. And yeah, we are open to partnerships, to investments, and yeah, we are looking forward to impacting more people, more youths, creating more jobs for young people, including more
Mm.
women, and most importantly, fight climate change in Kenya.
Yes, that's amazing. I mean, you guys, kudos to yourself, your team member. You do all over the world via social media. A lot of us are seeing the incredible work you're doing. Your constant traveling from one country to another country. We are all seeing the entire work. How you been able to manage with your entire traveling? How you been able to get the whole traveling and all?
I do have a strong team. I've been able to build my team slowly by slowly, and as much as I am traveling, I am working day and night,
Yes.
so I have to try and balance and work to make things moving.
That's incredible. Thank you very much. So it's also trying to bring the show to an end. For me, some of the quick takeaway for me was seeing a scientist. It's inspiring. What really inspired me about your journey so far in today's episode is that a lot of most of us don't what we study, especially our project work, we don't bring those things into idea. So right before us, we're all hearing or listening or watching, depending on what you podcast from. We're all hearing a story of a lady who went to do his master's program and were able to convert his research work into an entrepreneur, and is now solving a major problem in Kenya. Is creating job for a lot of people and is making impact in the lives of the local farmers in Kenya. For me, that's really incredible. And I think if every student or every scientist can begin to think of ways they can convert those ideas, those innovations, those research work they have into and bring it to the marketplace and see how they can use those innovations, those solutions they've discovered to be able to solve the problem of just living it in the lab. I think it will really go a lot of way. And I believe if everybody can emulate you, learn the world can become more better. We have a lot of solutions to a lot of humanity problems. So once again, I want to say thank you for honoring our invitation. It's like it's been here. I've been chasing. I want to bring it to my podcast. I'm finally happy we've been able to have the podcast today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. I appreciate you. It's not something I take for granted. Thank you for honoring our invitation and thank you for coming. It's on this note, guys. We call it a day. We come your way again next week. Same station, same channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel because the more we intend to do more bigger stuff in 2025, the more subscription we get, the more we be bigger guests to the podcast. So do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So till then, I'll call it bye from our end. So bye from our end. Till we see you next week.
Bye.